Hello everyone! So this video explains how to create a dragon eye with oil pastel. Here I am creating the color wheel Roy G. Biv value scale to show students which colors are analogous colors. So analogous means right next to each other on the color wheel. And then how to blend those colors together, and even using a grayscale to show that as well. So here I am making a sketch of my dragon eye first. And you start with the eye. You can create an eyelid if you want. It could be whatever shape pupil or iris. This one has a slight scar through it. And then the scale shape can be whatever shape the student would like as well, but it does have to create a pattern, and it should start smaller around the eye and then get larger and larger towards the end of the paper. So here I'm starting with filling in the iris itself. I wanted where the scar went through the eye to be slightly lighter, a little bit more translucent than the rest of the eye, so I added white oil pastel to that section. And here, this is a new brand of oil pastel. I've actually never used this brand. I'm used to a different one. So it was a bit of a learning curve for me, actually, figuring out how to properly blend these. If you've ever used oil pastel before, the nicer oil pastels are like a solid oil paint. They have a great texture, they go onto the paper very smoothly, they blend very smoothly, but a more cheap version of oil pastel is really just like a really good crayon. So it's a little bit harder to blend these out, but I appreciate this brand because they have a lot of colors. The other brand I use, usually it doesn't have this much variation, like there wasn't even a purple one. So here it's nice because each color has multiple versions of that color. So I was telling my students, since you can't really go light to dark with a single oil pastel because we want to almost burnish the page, which means that you're creating a layer of oil pastel on top of the paper. So it's level 4 craftsmanship, you're not showing any white space, and you're creating an entirely new layer on top of the paper, so you can't see the texture of the paper anymore. So we're burnishing each section with one color, and then to add value to that, there's multiple shades of every color, which is really nice because now I can shade from light green to a medium green to a dark green to show that value scale of light to dark, rather than just using one oil pastel the entire time. And once you have that base layer, and sorry about this weird purplish tint to the camera, it was a little weird that day, but you get that base on your paper with the lightest color of that scale. You burnish it completely, one scale at a time, and then I took the darkest color, so let's say I was using a light green, a medium green, and a blue. I first burnished it with the light green, then I outlined it with the blue, the darkest color, and then I used that medium green to blend those two colors together and create that value scale of light to dark. I did that with all these different shades of scales. And I told my students, use the color wheel, make sure that all the colors that you're mixing together are analogous colors, so they're next to each other on the color wheel. And then here you see I did a rainbow color palette for my dragon, but I still only mixed colors that are directly next to each other. So I went from red to orange to yellow to green to blue to purple, but those colors are next to each other on the color wheel, so I went in the correct order. Here I'm showing a class how to properly blend out each individual scale. So adding that value, right? Outlining it, but not leaving it as only an outline. Here I just went a little crazy with some detail. I was trying to make the scar a little bit more interesting. You can have the students do whatever they want to add more detail, make it more interesting, but each scale does need to have value. This is a second example that I wanted to make. It's the same color palette. I wanted to show that rainbow scale to really show students which colors can blend into each other. So I started with that same kind of process of filling in each section with the lightest color of that section, outlining it with the darkest color, and then using that medium color to blend those two together. So for example, you would fill in a section with yellow, outline it with a darker green, and then blend it out with a lighter or medium green. And you can even use white to kind of lighten some of the sections in the very middle. And then you can use a shade darker than that color on the color wheel to kind of darken the outline a little bit more as well if you need to. So I like to explain to my students that if you look at the color wheel, yellow is naturally the lightest or most transparent color. So if you go across the color wheel to its complementary color, purple, that is going to be the darkest or like the most opaque color. So if you really want to add some high contrast, you could use complementary colors in that way. But also to think about it and how you're going to create value, looking at the color wheel and deciding, okay, out of these 3 colors that I've chosen, which is the darkest and which is the lightest. So for example here, if it's a red scale, filling it in with red first, outlining it with, or I guess that was pink, outlining it with red, and then using even a dark purple to go back in and outline it a little bit more to add that high contrast, since red and purple are next to each other on the color wheel. And then if you keep going down the color wheel, let's say you blend yellow into orange, into red, into purple, into blue, into green, and then into yellow again, then you'll have that full scale of analogous colors. But you really just need to make sure that they are next to each other so that they can blend more seamlessly together. If you want to add really high contrast, you can also add black to the outlines, but I highly recommend waiting to use black oil pastel until the very, very end. It is very messy, it can spread very easily, and so you really just want to make sure that you wait until the end to use it so that it doesn't kind of muddy up the rest of the colors that you have. And there you go, I added a little bit more contrast, and this is the finished product for that one, the first one that we went through together. And then these are student examples from previous years. Thank you so much for watching.